Davis and Daryl Porter seemed to really stand out. Talk about that group.
Davis, I mean, he was lights out. He played corner, played nickel, played a lot of different spots, did a lot of different things. He blitzed a lot. I think he got a PBU. He had a tackle for a loss. He had a big caused fumble. Played with a lot of energy, was physical. Porter held up, I think he only gave up like one key pass. He kind of undressed the safety a little bit on a corner route on the third down. But those guys held up. I was so proud of them because we played against some really good receivers, a really talented quarterback, which we pressured him a lot, but we had a hard time, sacking him, because he kept running away from us. But we felt like we eliminated some throws downfield by bringing pressure, so it allowed them to play a little bit better.
How many hits did you get on?
It was a bunch. I think they did a stat out of, the 50 drop back passes. It was something like 30 times, we pressured, and out of 30 something, we actually made him hurry or pressure 28 of them, so we were getting home. We were doing things to try to stem the front, move the front, try to mess up their blocking schemes by getting guys free, and we felt like we had to do that, and we hadn't shown any of that really anywhere I've been other than on third down. I would do it some, but we did it probably 80% of the time. We stemmed the front and moved it before snap and then brought pressure after the snap, of course. So
the second half looked a little different than the first half. Did Bobby do some things at halftime that made you have to adjust a little bit, or they got a lot of yards in the second half?
They did. I think he started tempoing us a little bit and started going a little formations in the boundary. Kind of changed some personnels up. He went from 11 to 12. He took some easy access throws. They moved the ball, but we ended up stalling them out, which was good. In the first half, we had some bad field position, so they got scores, but the yards didn't show it because they had short fields. So in the second half, they had more yards, but they stalled out. Thank God. The key was we had a couple field goals, forced them to field goals, which was good, and we had a 2-point stop, which they snapped the ball on the ground, and we didn't try to simulate the snap count. James was trying to get the corner's attention, and he happened to clap a bunch of times, and they snapped the ball. It's just a part of football. I've been called for defensive delay of game for that before, with a kid not even trying to do it, but it is what it is. It's part of football, and we came out on the good end with that one.
So you had to defend a lot during the course of the game. Did you walk out of the stadium feeling pretty good about the whole body of work?
Ooh, I felt like I'd been in a war, man. It was all the way to the end. I didn't really get to enjoy it. I like having the ball at the end of the game and taking a knee. I think if we make that stop that Kim, went down on, that was a fourth down, and we get the ball and we run out the clock and we take a knee, it'd probably been a lot more enjoyable. But we defended from the very first, play to the very end. So it was a long game, and you got some great offensive minds over there. Of course, Coach Petrino, Jimbo, and then they had a guy who coached at Tennessee, Chaney, was an analyst over there. So they had 3 Power 5 SEC offensive coordinators that we were going up against.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it seems like you brought a lot of quarter blitzes on Saturday. How effective do you think those were in disrupting their quarterback, who's still pretty young to be?
We got a couple hits on them with it. We batted a ball. We got a couple tackles behind line of scrimmage. We started getting into whenever the tight end was on the football. He wasn't off the football flexed out. They were running the ball to the tight end side, especially when the quarterback was under in pistol. So we started blitzing from the tight end side and happened to be into the boundary. So we got a couple hits on it. And it's just a part of some things that we do schematically. And I thought the kids executed it really well.
Coach, with Branson Dean and Akeem Mesidor coming out last game, how do you think the line did without them, and who stood out to you in that situation?
You never planned for anything like that. Thank God we had a plan that we were going to pressure and move the front and allow the guys that came in that were a little smaller and inexperienced to be able to get after it a little bit and play a little reckless and carefree. So I thought Bain played really good. He got held probably 2-3 times where he got sacks that we didn't get a call. There's just some multiple guys, A lot of guys ran to the football. We didn't grade out great up front. We had some MAs, but they played extremely hard, which was good. So,
Your aggressive approach is a benefit of that approach that it eliminates some hesitancy and maybe some overthinking on the back end in particular.
you know, I think you need the pressure and do things to mix things up. If we were big up front and we were stout and they couldn't block us up front, I probably wouldn't pressure as much, But when you're athletic and you're a little thin, then you have to do those things. And my background, I've always been smaller than the opponents we play. FCS days, we would play money games against South Florida, Nebraska, and we would always move the front and stem. We always played good against the run. And my days at Western Kentucky, Marshall, we've never been bigger than anybody, but we've always been athletic, and it kind of just fits the type of kids we have here, and I think they enjoy it. They enjoy creating havoc and getting, in the backfield. So
is that just like an engagement thing, you think? Like it just keeps them engaged to be?
it does. I think it does. Each week they want to know what we're going to do differently, especially early in the week when you show it to them. It kind of breaks the monotony of, just going through a regular practice. It's like, okay, what we got this week? They kind of know certain calls. Each one of them have a chance to get a play.
Coach, I'm assuming you're with Cam likely out for a little bit. How do you feel about the reserve safety filling in for him?
We'll mix it up. We'll have different guys playing the safety position. Right now, I can't say who's going to be the guy, but there'll be some corners that are rotating in at that safety as well. A guy like Jaden Davis, he can play any position. You just plug and play him. And TC's another guy like that too, Couch. Of course, Harris is the natural backup that would be going in. But we got different guys that can go in and play. They know the defense well enough. They have enough experience to where they can move to other positions.
Are any of those young guys that you've got starting to pop a little bit?
You ain't playing a game like this, you really don't pop them in a game. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough. You're playing. You just don't know. You keep having them work against the good guys and on scout and one-on-ones, and things are starting to click. You'll start to see it, but when you see it, and usually when you start having injuries and guys have to be forced to play, is when you really see it. It's just hard to take a starter out and put a guy in with no experience in a game like the other night. It's just you're gonna go with the guys you feel good about, and the guys that's been through some wars. So.
On Saturday night, James really talked about the impact and the influential contagiousness that Cam has had on the entire defense from really sort of fall and the work ethic that he's been able to instill a lot. How inspiring has it been for you to be able to see that come to fruition every day with Cam?
Cam and James, especially this last week, they practiced the right way. Those guys make all the checks. Cam's always been an energy guy for us, the way he practices. The effort he puts into it mentally and physically. But last week, something clicked with James. He practiced a lot better. He made a lot of plays at practice, and it came to fruition in the game. I mean, he looked like a five-star safety that I saw come out of high school. You saw him flash on plays. You saw him hit, and he just looked like what he was supposed to do. So this week he'll have another good week, and it's all about confidence. And I really don't know what's happened here before, so I can't speak on that. But I do know injuries play a part, and until you get healthy again, and especially in defensive backs, wide receivers, when you're a skill guy, you have to feel right. You're like a track athlete. Nobody goes out there and run fast that don't feel good. So these guys, they're skill guys. They have to feel good to play good, and I think James is finally feeling good like his old self, and had a hell of a game the other night.
Coach, what has Jafari given you through 2 games? The ability to move him, to see him recover, just what he's given you so far?
He's still battling a little bit, trying to get that strength in that shoulder. Each week it probably hurts a little different, but he's one of the guys that can rush the passer. That's probably more of his forte is a speed type guy, but he's got a really good leadership and he practices well too. So I think he'll have a big week this week. I think he'll have a chance to get a couple sacks.
Coach,